uptake and utilization. Why is that so important? Well, here's a little thing. A lady saying, every day I walk for 30 minutes, I drink my glasses of water, I eat the right food, but I'm still growing older. Target test, the science of biomarkers. Aging is inevitable, but healthier aging is definitely possible. And organizations like the National Institute of Health agree with that. Biomarkers present us with a new paradigm for healthier lives. What are these biomarkers? Biomarkers are enzymes and proteins that float around in our blood that we can measure, and they change, and they have been associated with prevention of or creation of long-term diseases. So the whole theory is, if you can figure out how to measure the level of these biomarkers, and then perhaps how to change the level of some of the biomarkers, you can actually influence your downstream health. Look at this chart. This chart shows a human life, and if you look all the way to the left, you'll see when we're young, we're at very low risk for chronic disease, and as we get older, there's more risk. Modern medicine concentrates mainly on the phase at the back end, when we've already gotten sick and they're treating symptoms. They wait until they have to treat the symptoms. But there's a time when we're younger, when our biomarkers are already starting to go toward abnormal levels. And if we could intervene there, we could slow down the progression of aging. For example, with glucose, you'll see all these values. If you have a fasting glucose of 90, you're pretty healthy. When you get to 110, you're already moving into a diabetic frame. And if you stay in that frame, toward the end, you're going to have structural changes, eye damage, you'll have extremities, lack of circulation in your extremities, your kidneys can fail, it goes on, and you get coronary artery disease too. So, if you look at these two charts, you can see a normal life on the left, where the green represents symptoms of disease, and the red represents the biomarkers, the level of abnormal biomarkers showing up. And if you notice, even by our 30s and 40s, our biomarkers are out of whack. But we're not showing any symptoms. But by the age of 50, about half of us are sick. About half of us are on statin drugs, Lipitor, rosiglitazone, trying to lower our blood sugar, trying to lose weight. We have problems. But the chart on the right shows a life where the biomarkers were controlled a bit more. Now, the person doesn't live any longer, but they live healthier. Fewer symptoms, less medicine toward the end. So, changes in your blood targets appear before you have symptoms. And if you could control those, whammo, you're on to a healthier life. That's what we're looking at with Evolv. We are taking Evolv and we're looking at a series of biomarkers. Why do we need to manage these biomarkers? Here's a classic example. Years ago, before medicine started keeping us alive longer, you'd see a person in their 60s looked pretty old. But if you look at the bottom, today it's possible, if you live correctly, to look younger longer, be healthier longer, and be able to move and be part of your family, part of your career, pursue your dreams much longer, and be cool about it too. I am totally passionate about sharing this with you. I'm so excited. I guess I should share too. I am going to be 61 in September. Wow. From a science perspective, managing these biomarkers allows the building of a clear vision of health based upon well-published, peer-reviewed journals. There's a wide body of science supporting these biomarkers. From a marketing perspective, it makes it possible to design provocative products that consumers are going to be interested in because there's a huge consumer benefit. And from a regulatory standpoint, it's really great because you can talk about managing biomarkers without making specific disease claims, which we're not allowed to do. We can't say that we're going to cure cancer. We can't say we're going to cure diabetes. But what we can say is we can help lower blood glucose. So we can slow down the rate of oxidation of your LDL. Interesting. Here are a few of the biomarkers that we look at. I'm not going to read all of these. If you look close, you'll see things like cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. We're looking at literally dozens of markers in human blood. And we are also looking at genes and cascades of genes and how they're affected by various food materials. We're doing this with Evolv. So with our research and discovery program, we would, for example, take Evolv water and we would do an in vitro test. We put it in the test tube, and then we'd run this whole panel of different analyses using microchips, cascades of genes, chemical analyses. We measure it for antioxidants. I mean, we're looking at this 12 ways to Tuesday. When we see activity, that gives us a clue because we're testing in human blood outside the body. Now stay with me, I know this is dense, but it's worth it. When we get the clues, then we'll take it to people and do clinical studies because we already know how to measure and what to look for by what we saw in the ex vivo testing. This is cutting-edge science. To our best knowledge, no one in our industry is doing this kind of research. Are we